Hi everyone, this is Federico from Project 2023. In this short video we're gonna present what my teammates and I have been working on this summer of High Performance Computing 2020. Our project is called Improved Performance with Hybrid Programming, and if you think this is something about computing, yeah, you're almost right. This is about supercomputing. But wait, what is a supercomputer? Well, take a look at this. If it can fit into your house, it's probably a supercomputer. These big guys are used a lot when scientists have to deal with huge calculation, like physics simulation, fluid dynamics, weather forecasting, and basically every problem that requires solving differential equations. In fact, our goal is to solve a mathematical problem as fast as we can using a supercomputer.
In this project, we are working with a prototypical memory-bound scientific code that solves the Helmholtz equation using the finite difference method. This leads to a Jacobi solver that is a simple stencil code with halo communication in 2 and 3 dimensions. We first start with our problem in 2 dimensions that is discretized and solved using the Jacobi solver. Here you can see the exact solution and the numerical solution iteratively computed by the Jacobi solver. But what if your problem size is so big it becomes infeasible to solve on a single computer? Naturally, the most obvious solution is to divide and conquer. We cut the domain in pieces and solve the problem on multiple computers. We can cut the domain in stripes along x-axis. We have a balanced load on all CPUs, but we have too many interface points for communication. We can cut the domain in stripes along y-axis and still have too many interface points for communication. A more elegant solution is to decompose the domain in both directions with virtual Cartesian topologies. We still have balanced load on all CPUs and we have minimal interface points. Then we discretize the local problem and then add these duplicated halos around each CPU and begin the process of halo exchange. First, all the processes send their data to their right neighbors and receive data from their left neighbors. Next, all the processes send their data to their left neighbors and receive data from their right neighbors. Similarly, all the processes send and receive data from their top and bottom neighbors respectively. After all the communications of the halos are completed, the Jacobi stencil computes the solution at the green point using the solution of its neighboring grid points from the previous iteration. Very similarly, we have the problem domain in 3D that is decomposed in 3 dimensions into smaller cubes, like a Rubik's Cube. Then the problem is discretized and solved on multiple CPUs. Now that we've established what should be done, my friend Clement is going to tell you how we actually did it.
Let me explain you easily what are the technical benefits of such supercomputers. Since we want to simulate the propagation of an earthquake, for instance, I am sorry to say that your tiny calculator won't be enough for that. In fact, a better idea will be to combine many different calculators to make them execute all together one single task. This is what we call parallelization. Each calculator has its own memory, but is unable to communicate its data to the others with a tool called MPI for Message Passing Interface. To go further, we can attach to a group of calculators a big memory area. They can now store their local data without having to communicate anything. This is called shared memory architecture. It is possible to combine another tool named OpenMP. With this tool, only nodes or sockets will be communicating together instead of processes. The first idea was to allocate the shared memory within each socket and to make only the masters of each socket communicating with other masters. Another idea was to organize everything in such a way that only boundary processes of each socket would send their data to a process close to them. The same thing has been done allocating a contiguous shared memory within an entire node. It appears that all process units which are not placed on the master socket won't use their own socket to store data but will have to travel a long distance to write or read into the shared memory. The solution was to establish a non-contiguous shared memory within the node. It is even possible to add an accelerator, but Kevin will dive into this subject later.
One way to accelerate your execution time is to use a GPU, a device composed of a main memory, a great number of cores sharing little memory small groups, and a bus, called the PCI bus. Since processes have to deal with problems of a colossal size, they have to divide their work into chunks that have to be sent to the GPU, computed, and eventually they will combine the results given back by the GPU. This approach is unfeasible because the PCI bus is very slow. We will have to move our problem straight into the memory of the GPU. One approach is to split the problem on more devices. The MPI processes will be mapped to the devices, then these processes will decompose the problem straight into the memory of the GPUs, and during the computation, the GPUs will have to communicate the hello data, but this will be done thanks to the MPI processes. Our approach is Pragma-based, thanks to OpenECC, and we can see that this approach is working compared to the host and multi-core version of our code.
Okay, now let's sum up our results. We learned that even though the Jacobi algorithm is very simple, its parallelization might be tricky and requires some effort, but thanks to the Vienna Scientific Cluster and TU-Wien, we were able to make it scale up to hundreds of processors, achieving more than 400 gigaflops on 12 computing nodes of the VSC3 supercomputer. We wanted to thank our project mentors Claudia and Irina for their patience and support, and praise for giving us this amazing opportunity. Thank you!